Miranda Valentine, editor of the lifestyle blog Everything Sounds Better in French, and today I'm going to show you how to make rosemary roasted potatoes. Now, rosemary and potatoes, that is like one of my favorite combinations, and this is a really easy dish that I'm sure you're going to love. So I have my ingredients all laid out here. This is a serving size of 2, so this is a great dish for like 2 people. I have 2 pretty good sized russet potatoes. You can use whatever type of potato you want, but this is just a really good like baking potato. It's really hearty. This has been washed and I have left the skins on. I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. As a rule of thumb, usually when you're roasting potatoes, for 1 serving size of potato, like 1 potato, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So that's like a good thing to remember. I also have 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped rosemary. So delicious. Fresh absolutely makes a difference. You'll totally notice it. So definitely recommend that you spring for the fresh. And then we have 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I also have baking sheet laid out here, and it has been covered with foil. That's just because it's easier to clean up. You don't have to cover it with foil. And you could certainly also use like a baking dish, but if you lay it out on the sheet like this, it cooks a lot faster. So we're gonna start by cutting our potatoes. You can do it in whatever size kind of chunks you want. The smaller the chunk, the quicker it's going to cook. So that's just a rule of thumb. The way I'm gonna cut it pretty small like this will take about 30 minutes, but it can take anywhere, depending on your oven, depending on the size, at 425 degrees, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. But the larger the chunk, definitely the longer that it will take. But tastes delicious either way you do it. So get these guys all set up, and then we're gonna give them a delicious little bath of rosemary and olive oil, salt and pepper. It's gonna be really delicious. And the great thing about like mastering any kind of form of cooking something, you can swap out the rosemary for all sorts of herbs. If you learn that you really like there to be more olive oil, you can add more. Less, same thing with the salt and pepper, and you can really make this recipe your own, and soon you won't even have to watch my little video and you'll just be an absolute pro. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting the olive oil into this bowl first. I like to mix everything in this bowl so that my potatoes can evenly coat. You could certainly just drizzle or toss on the baking sheet, but I just find in a bowl I'm able to coat everything a lot more thoroughly. So whatever your preference. Let's add in about half of the rosemary now, and all the pepper and all of the salt. Now when I'm doing a potato with an herb, let's add the potatoes in, I like to really be able to taste that herb, hence why I'm using a tablespoon per potato. If you just want a hint, you can absolutely reduce that. But you'll notice a bit of it is going to get stuck to the bottom of the bowl anyway and won't transfer, so I just like to give each little piece of potato a fighting shot at having some delicious rosemary attached to it. So add in the rest of the rosemary. Oh, it smells so good. You always want to use the best olive oil that you can when you're cooking with it. You will taste the difference. Certainly extra virgin if you can. Okay, fantastic. So now we are ready to transfer this to our baking sheet. So let's just toss this on. Now I don't want to just leave it like this. It would take a lot longer to cook. I want to spread it out, make sure that they're not crowded, and every little bit has plenty of room to get nice and heated up. So we're gonna pop this in the oven now. At about 15 minutes in, I'm gonna check it, maybe give it a little stir, make sure it cooks evenly, and we're gonna check back in about 30 minutes and see if we're done. Okay, so it's been about 33 minutes to be exact, and my potatoes are nice, roasted, delicious, a little bit crispy here, still not completely crisped all the way around, so I'm gonna have some nice soft parts. Because of the tiny size, it cooked pretty quickly. Again, if you have a larger size, it's gonna take a bit longer, so this recipe could go anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, so just make sure that you're keeping an eye on it throughout the cooking process. But really easy to do, it smells fantastic. One of my favorite things, rosemary roasted potatoes. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. And if there's something that you want to learn how to make, send me an email at requests@mahalo.com. And don't forget to check out our other great videos.